Ugh. I think somebody just slipped something under my door. What's this say? What's up, guys? I don't know if you can tell, but for the past couple of videos, well, all of my videos, I have been using my phone's microphone because guess what? I don't own a microphone. So this is pretty nice. Yeah. In this video today, I'm going to be telling you why I love the game Frostpunk. So, Frostpunk is kind of like SimCity, you know, one of those classic city planner games where you manage resources and people's happiness, but this game has a very unique twist to it. You see, the game takes place in a sort of super winter, is what the game calls it, I think, where basically the temperatures globally have dropped to a very large amount, and the entire Earth is basically covered in, like, the Arctic, because it's super cold. In this video, I'm going to be covering 3 parts of the game, like in all my other videos. I'm going to cover the different resources and management and stuff like that. Then I'm going to move on to the discontent and the hope system that the game comes with. Then finally, I'm going to move on to the sort of lore-like story that the game has, and that's something I haven't done before with other games that I like or that I talk about, but I feel like this game, it should be covered. In Frostpunk, you have multiple different resources you have to build and do other things like that. You have wood, which allows you to build houses and things like that. You have steel, which comes in later on, but it's also another building material. You have coal, which allows you to run the generator, which is the large tower in the center of your town. And then you have a couple of more unique resources, like both raw and cooked food, which help you feed your people. That's pretty important, obviously, for the survival of your people. And then there's finally steam cores, which I will explain later. At the very start of the game, each of the resources can be gathered, well, the coal, the wood, and the steel can be gathered from deposits that are located around the town area that you start. You send your people out and they gather the resources. It's pretty simple. But eventually those piles will they'll expire. You'll gather all of the materials. And then from there you have to move on to creating things like mines and like wall drills and stuff like that to get different materials out that you can use to build and stuff. Which those systems, the mines and the wall drills and everything like that, those ones are replenishable. So you don't have to worry after you have enough of those about gathering or creating more. In order to run these different facilities, you'll have to connect them to the generator through streets and stuff like that. That's pretty simple. Another way to get resources is by sending groups of travelers or scouts out into the wilderness or the snowy areas to find resources and other things like that. That's also how you find things like relics and steam cores and even other people, which is pretty important to continuing to grow your place. However, in order to get these resource facilities and the scout balloon and things like that, you're going to have to research. And researching, you build a factory is what the thing is called, and that allows you to research different things that are very helpful, like insulation, generator power, and like advanced versions of the factories and things like that you have at the start. With the resources and things like that out of the way, I'm going to be moving on to part 2, which is the discontent and hope system. So, one of the more unfortunate things about this game is that your people can die due to sickness. And so, people dying and other things like that, like running out of resources or the temperature dropping, will cause people's discontent to go higher. And so, basically, if you reach a full discontent meter, they basically murder you, which isn't cool, but it's what happens if you fail to take care of the people. You can also lower the discontent bar by raising your hope bar. Throughout the game, little opportunities will pop up where you'll have a choice to make. One of the choices will improve your ability to survive, and the other choice will raise hope. And so that's the smaller way that you keep hope going, or you keep survival going rather than hope. But also, you can select a form of government, basically. You see, early on, there's 2 forms of government you can choose from. in the Book of Laws. You can choose from a more religious government, or you can choose from a more militant government. These both have their own drawbacks and their own bonuses. Personally, I prefer to go with a religious government, mainly because it seems to have less people, or you need less people to run it. You see, for the militant government, there is a watchtower, and the watchtower will make people feel safer, however, it requires a few guards. The religious government has these things called shrines, and so the people can pray at shrines to work harder. And so, personally, I prefer to take the religious one because it seems to be easier on resources, or at least workers. Having one of the forms of government usually allows you to raise and lower your discontent. For example, the religious government will allow you to have people pray at the churches that you build. This obviously will raise people's hope because they're praying. There are really no drawbacks to having one of the forms of government, except for later on, but I'm not going to explain that because that'll be spoiling it, and I feel that's a little important to experience for the first time on your own. And that's pretty much how the discontent and hope system sums up, as well as the different governments you can choose from. I'm now going to be moving on to part 3, which is the sort of style slash lore slash story of the game, which is pretty interesting. As I said before, Frostpunk, the game, takes place during a super winter. However, the twist on this game is that it's a steampunky style super winter SimCity game. So, something important though about the game is while you're traveling out with your troops and exploring and everything, your scouts, you can come across ancient relics and stuff. Sadly, I don't have an example here, but when you come across them, they'll give you a piece of lore about the game and everything, so you can get a better idea of the story. Now, I'm not going to show you any of these because that would be spoilers, and I'm not spoiling anything. And that's pretty much everything I had to say about the game. So, I definitely recommend it if you're into management or something like that, if you're into similar games like SimCity. And, yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think about the game, if you comment underneath, and yeah. So about that first part in the video, I am getting a new mic, which is nice because my audio has been, well, it's been crap. And so with that, I'll definitely be able to have a better voice audio, and hopefully that improves my videos. So yeah!